Awesome. Graeme, thank you very much for joining us for this catch-up. Just to have a bit of understanding around, some of the things that have been happening in South African cricket, some of the updates, etc. Can you tell us about the state of South African cricket, of cricket in South Africa, and what the plans are for the next few months?
Thanks. So, yeah, I mean, it's always difficult to try and find the starting point when you discuss, but I think, I must say I'm quite relieved and I'm quite positive over the fact that with all the COVID issues, the second wave in South Africa, that we've managed to, manage that and get cricket played. I think from our perspective, certainly at, more elite level between franchises, our women and, our men's national team, that we've been able to run these BSC bubbles with biosecure facilities. And to get cricket played. I mean, I think that has got to be our biggest goal, is to try and get as much done by the end of the season. There's going to be a focus on trying to get semi-professional underway as well with the domestic restructure. I think that's an important thing that we need to focus on now, and trying to figure out that BSC and how it looks. I think putting this franchise cricket together, the Momentum Cup in such a short space of time, just between Christmas and New Year, and being able to get that played is a huge credit to our medical team and the people that are implementing the BSCs, and the stress that we're all carrying in terms of managing that. And then our women, started a series now in South Africa against the Pakistan women. We're grateful for the support of that. And then, sorry, my little man's arrived. And yeah, so get as much cricket played. So I'm just tying a shoelace.
Dad duty, always on call.
So you can hide anyone else, but they find you. There we go.
Tell us a little bit about the Momentum One Day Cup and how that's gone off, and how whether you're happy with how things have progressed so far, rain notwithstanding, of course.
Yeah, I mean, obviously rain, you go to such a great extent to get these things together. I mean, the stress between Christmas and New Year to make sure we could get that played. I think to consider that we would have had probably 21 televised games in January between our women and our franchise cup, Momentum Cup, was an incredible effort. I mean, the amount of work that went into doing that and getting that set up, and I think it's so easy and to take the simple route of cancelling all cricket at the moment. But the fact that we've been able to get it played, and as you say, if the rain had stayed away, I think it would have been an exciting first few weeks. The second part of that BSC and tournament is about to get underway. So yeah, hopefully the rain will stay away and we can talk as much about cricket. Sips, I think that's the most important thing for us, is that we want to keep the conversation around cricket, and getting it played.
The Proteas Men are into their third international tour. How important has that been for you, just as a director of cricket, to get the national teams back into action, particularly the men's team, with so many World Cups coming up, the T20 World Cup this year, next year, and then obviously the 50 over World Cup as well in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, it is a heavy white ball focus. I mean, I think, when we're sitting in the winter, in the midst of lockdowns and COVID, you often consider, and I think, it's easy to forget, but all of us and players included were probably sitting there thinking, when are we going to play again? When will we be able to even get outdoors, never mind play again? So I think to be able to reach that point where we got cricket underway with England in December, then Sri Lanka, to follow, and now the team being in Pakistan. I mean, I think, it's going to be a really busy period for them. I know it's challenging as well, moving from sort of these biosecure bubbles to the next one. But I think if we can finish our season, as I've said, with getting as much cricket in as possible, I know everyone is focused on results, but as the director of cricket, I see it as an opportunity for us to grow squads, to see a number of players across the board. I think it's just natural with COVID the restrictions and how bubbles are being run, that it's going to be impossible to play your best team day in and day out, even though we want to achieve that as much as possible. But I think hopefully by April we would have a really good idea of a core group of players, and let's hope that the results will come our way as well. I think my major focus, which has been, is on getting cricket played. And our national men's team have been the pinnacle of that over many, many years. And I'm glad that they're up and running, and we're working on an FTP, and it's looking very busy. And our goal will be that at some point we need to pin things down and really focus on, who's going to be the best squads going to these World Cup tournaments and how that's going to look. But at the moment, the focus is getting on as much cricket played as possible.
I know that you're not considerably results driven, but it must have been good to see the Proteas winning a Test series at home against Sri Lanka, particularly
when
after
I looked at the squad against Sri Lanka, and I looked at that bowling attack on day one, you realise that there's a lot of work and development and growth that needs to happen as well. It was a very young squad with potential. So with that is going to come an element of learning, an element of sort of ups and downs. Yes, we want our team to win as much as possible. I wouldn't say that that's the defining thing for me this season. I would like to answer a few questions in my own head. I think the selectors would want to do the same, and the coaching staff, around the potential that we have to move forward, the type of players that put their hand up over the next few months. There's going to be a number of opportunities for players because of COVID bubbles and the challenges we face around quarantine periods and getting cricket played. So there are going to be probably more opportunities available to players than maybe in the past. So I'm really excited to see who puts their hands up and who are the people that we can back into the future. So yeah, I played the game hard, and I want our team to win as much as possible. But I'm also realistic around the challenges that we face on a daily basis with COVID and the bubbles.
A lot has been said about this recently announced T20 squad that's going to be taking on Pakistan. What were some of the thoughts and the reasons behind having these drastically separated and different squads between the Test and the T20 teams?
Yeah, look, I think when you work on these BSC protocols for COVID, you work with the other member nations, and I think I need to start by saying that if member nations don't support each other and get in and play cricket, cricket's going to find itself in a very challenging space. So, when you work with these member nations, your objective is to find the protocols that work for both. You find the middle ground to be able to implement them. And make them safe and get cricket played. So in working with Cricket Australia, we've come to a lot of those medical conclusions and how that's going to look. So, there will be an initial quarantine period before that series. And unfortunately, that meant that we would have to play two different squads at the time. I guess in normal world, it's not ideal, but it does offer opportunities. And we would really love to get our home summer, completed. And Australia are a big part of that home summer. We want to, not only, get it played, but we want to compete in that series. I think, we saw, from the Australia-India series, the hype around Test cricket. And I think it's going to be a great test of where we are as a squad. So we're motivated. The last time a Test series happened in South Africa with Australia, it was a very heated one, and we all know what went on. So I think we're very excited to be able to host Australia, but that comes with certain restrictions and medical protocols that we're putting in place. And so we'll have to bring that Test squad home to start that and start their preparation and their quarantine period before that series starts.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. There's been a bit of interest in the Proteas men's coaching staff in the last few days, particularly with the changeover from Prasanna Agaram to Rivash Gobind coming into the setup for the Pakistan tour. Can you tell us just a little bit more about that and set the record straight around Prasanna?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we first must thank Prasanna. I mean, he's been an integral part of that analyst position for 10, 11 years now. I mean, he started under my captaincy, from an IPL. We picked up his ability. I mean, the objective was always for him to grow people in that position and develop, South African people as well. And I think we've reached the point with that role that we wanted a slightly different outlook on that person. The management team felt that it was crucial that they could get more of a coach in that position. So we identified Rivash Gopend, who's got a history of coaching and playing at top levels. So we were very excited to be able to get him. And also appoint a South African person into that role. I think it was time now. The development had been there. And yeah, to really cover more bases, I think was important, and to have someone around permanently in our high performance setup as well. And Rivash is going to offer us, the coaching element plus the data element, and work with other people in that department. So we're excited to have his all-round capabilities with the national team, and we wish him well.
Thanks very much for that. Moving on to bubble life, it can't be easy for the teams, being in a bubble for an extended period of time. We've seen with the men's team, who are currently in what will end up being a 3-month bubble. From now onwards, the women's team are also, in their first bubble. Can you share with us the kind of interference that CSA is running in terms of mental health and ensuring the comfort and the well-being of the players as well as their support staff?
Yeah, I mean, I think first to acknowledge that it's not simple and easy. I do feel for the players who move from bubble to bubble. Life is different at the moment for not only players, but I guess everyone in the world, and the challenges that COVID has thrown at us. I think we've tried to look at different types of hotels. We've tried to offer more lifestyle type hotels where there's ability to get outdoors and still get some air and fresh air and do some things in and around the hotel. We've looked at team rooms and how we can create some more entertainment for the players, and try and create a bit of normality in what is a very abnormal thing to be involved in. We've worked closely with Saka also on the mental side. We're in constant contact with the players, questionnaires, details, trying to stay ahead, I guess, of any mental issues, and trying to keep the dialogue as open and honest as possible, and really get players communicating, and so that we can deal with the stuff that comes our way. And yeah, as you say, Sips, the next 3 months is going to be a tough period for the men's national team. They're going to move from bubble to bubble as we try and complete our home season, and we'll have to manage that. We'll have to manage that with players. We'll have to manage that. We'll have to constantly be thinking on our feet. But our objective is to produce a safe and get as much cricket played, a safe environment for players, and create a space where they feel safe and happy. So we're trying that. We're learning all the time, and working together on this, which I think is very important, and working with Saka, which is very important.
Next year's before I get to next year, sorry. The women's team have just started their tour against Pakistan, which was really exciting and good to see them back out on the park and playing cricket again. How important is a successful Proteas women's team to Cricket South Africa's bottom line? We really focused on developing this team. I think we've seen, in the World Cup last year, getting to the semi-final, and I'd captured everyone's attention. The women's team's also got a number of big white ball events coming. I was very disappointed that we couldn't get the England tour at the end of last year underway. We couldn't get the government permissions, and I thought that would have been a really big thing for our ladies. So I'm grateful that we've got that underway now. The Pakistan women have supported us, and we've got this tour going. The fact that we've got it televised, all 6 games televised, I think speaks to us, to the work that we're trying to do to get it more attention brought to the women's game. I think we've got a number of talented players. And the goal at CSA is how we beef that up, from a competition perspective, how we grow that even more. I think every year the goal for us has got to be to grow the women's game and to invest in it, and to get it to the level that we see as right. I think from our perspective,
it's underway. Cricket is being played, and our women are happy, and we've got to keep that going.
And what's the FTP looking like for the women's team? Are there any tours in the works?
There's a lot of planning on the FTP. There's a lot of work being done behind the scenes of getting cricket played. So yeah, there's a nice busy calendar, and hopefully we can pull off everything that's in the pipeline, and build them up nicely to the world events that are coming their way. Obviously, for all our teams going forward, the number of white ball competitions, world events, World Cups, T20 World Cups that are going to be in the pipeline, that's got to be our focus. We really want to find a space where both our teams are pushing for trophies. So those are the goals, and how we can prepare our team best with all the challenges that we have. That's all the behind the scenes conversations that we are currently happening.
And finally, the Black Day ODI is going to be a really exciting fixture that's coming up this weekend, not only because, of the change in the kit and all the merriment that goes with having a new look, but because of the cause that is being supported, the fight against gender-based violence. How important is it, to Cricket South Africa that the women have their own standalone marquee event, one that is going to be something that they own and will rival and then eventually, equal Pink Day, as has been happening with the men for the last 10 years or so?
Yeah, 100%. We know how important the GBV message is, and to improve the way men treat women in our country. And it's really great that our women have taken that on. I know it's been delayed because of COVID. It was meant to happen early in the year, but I'm just extremely happy and almost a bit emotional that we're managing to get it underway and to get that message out there, led by our Proteas women's team. I know the men's team will be right behind them in the messaging. They've already started that with the England series. And this will take it to a new level. And it's important that we keep driving it. We keep trying to drive change in society for the better. And I'm really proud of the way our ladies are handling themselves. So hopefully it's a successful day, that it gets the message, that it gets the publicity that it deserves. Pity that we can't have a full house at any of our games, but in particular that one, getting behind what is going to be an important day and an important message.